Hey, what's up, you guys? And I'm excited to give you my 50-mile review on these Nike React Milers. I'm really excited to tell you my opinion on these after 50 miles of running. Yes, 50 miles already. It doesn't seem like I've had them that long, but yes, I have gotten 50 miles in these things. It's kind of funny, you don't realize how many miles you do until you actually start getting out there and running, especially when you enjoy a shoe as much as this is, which is kind of a surprise. So before I get into this review, please, if you haven't already, click that subscribe button below, hit the like button, all that kind of stuff after watching the video. But please, 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 if you could, hit that subscribe button. And please, if you like the video, please like, share, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. So I appreciate every single one of you for enjoying and watching my videos. So getting right into it, we're going to talk about the upper on this thing going first. And this is one of the things that I absolutely love about this particular shoe is the upper. I live here in Florida. It gets hot. A lot of times I have to go out early in the morning in order to go for a run. And I'm talking about like before the sun comes up because it's so gosh darn humid and it gets so hot so quickly that I have to go out early in the morning. So that being said, I haven't had a single issue with heat retention in this shoe. It breathes incredibly well. It's really nice and loosey-goosey here, as some other YouTubers would say. It's really super comfortable and a really durable top here. This upper is really, really durable, and I like some of the features that they have here. So they've made this front section right here, the toe area, where it's incredibly durable. The dual knit, I guess you could say, mesh that's up here is incredibly durable, and it's incredibly breathable, and it's really not that heavy, to be completely honest with you. So I really like that. I do like that there is a slight lockdown unit in here that's very similar but very different from what you get in the Pegasus. So you do have a single tab here that, if you can see in the lighting here, there's a little yellow line here. There's also another one that runs down here. And it kind of Y's off. And that's what locks down your foot into the shoe. I really, really like that because on the lateral side of your foot right here, on the Pegasus, I noticed that if you tighten the whole lockdown system down a little bit too tight, the longer you go on your run and your foot's trying to expand, the lockdown unit, for me at least, doesn't allow my foot to expand and kind of cramps my foot up and then causes some foot pain later on. So that's another video, and I'll get into that later on another video, but this doesn't have that because it Y's off, so it allows this kind of gap in between the two Y points here on the bottom to have a little bit of room right here for your lateral side of your foot to expand, which I really, really like that. That being said, another thing that I like, again, early morning run is just something that for safety, I love the reflective tabs that are all over this thing. We got one right up front here, we got the ones on top, and of course we got the one sitting in the back right here to keep you visible to some of those drivers or other people that are on the road as you're running down the road. So safety, big thing. Obviously we want to keep everybody safe as you're running. So that is one of the things that I do like about this shoe, is the safety aspect of it. Going around to the heel area, this is probably one of my favorite parts here. It is so supportive and so comfortable on the long run that it feels like even after I think last week I've done a couple of 10K runs in this shoe, and it seems like I've gotten so used to it, or they've broken into that point where I felt like after a 6.26, so a 10K run, that I could keep going. I stopped because the humidity was so damn high that I felt like I couldn't breathe. I felt like I was putting my head in a fish tank and I just couldn't breathe. So so I stopped at a 10K. I've stopped at 10Ks just because of that, waiting for the cool weather to come in. We're finally getting some. Anyways, But this rear section right here is so super supportive that it's made it so that my ankles, I don't get that pronation like I do on some of the shoes that don't have that support, because this has a nice heel clip on the back of it that is so super supportive that it doesn't allow too much flex in that heel area. So it kind of keeps your ankle straight. It kind of keeps your foot in a straight motion. So whenever you're landing and your body's starting to break down, you're not going to injure yourself by having too much pronation, or you're landing on the side of your foot, or ankle injuries, knee injuries, all that kind of stuff. It just keeps your foot straight. So that is the one thing I really like about this heel area. I also love the padding, super plush padding right on the outside of your heel and your ankle, so that when you're running down the road and you're having to make those turns, it's super comfortable to be running. The tongue is also very comfortable. It's not thick, it's not thickly padded, but it's also not too thin. It's just the right amount of padding, and I believe in the right spot. So the upper doesn't feel heavy on your foot. It doesn't feel like there's weight on top of your foot. The weight is really underneath your foot, and that's really where it's going to be anyways. I also love the toe box area. Toe box is nice and wide. It allows your feet to kind of plane out and your toes to expand as you're running down the road. So I absolutely love that. The upper is absolutely amazing. It is incredibly durable. It's well constructed. Got to give it to Nike on that one for making this right. They just did a fantastic job with the upper on this. So now we move to the midsole, which is everyone's favorite Nike React foam. And I don't know what they did different with this compared to the Pegasus 37s, because to me, this broke in a lot easier than the Pegasus 37s. And also, these are a lot more like plush. I don't want to say it's like running on pillows, but I would say it's very similar to running on pillows. It is just so comfortable. It absorbs the impact mile after mile after mile, hence the name React Miler. It absorbs the impact so well that, I mean, it's just after mile after mile after mile, your feet feel fantastic after a run. That's the wonderful thing about it. Your feet, your ankles, your knees, your hips, because these shoes do their job at absorbing impacts really well and then exerting that energy back, returning that energy back, that it's a phenomenal shoe. Not really an up-tempo shoe, I will admit that. It's not a shoe that I would say you'd want to race in. This is more of like a long run, maybe easy day shoe that you'd want to run in. So I really like that about it. Now the toe area has just enough React foam, but not an overabundant amount. And let me explain why, because when you're running, you still do get some road feel out of it. It doesn't absorb it so much that in that toe area, you don't feel that push off that you're looking for. It still has just enough foam in that toe area to give you that nice kind of road feel, to give you that push. But it's got this nice foam back here, so the mid and heel. So if you're a mid or heel striker, this is the shoe that I would highly recommend for you. And even if you're a toe striker, I'd still say this is a great shoe. It still absorbs the impacts really well, but definitely if you're a mid or a heel striker, the amount of foam that's back here and the amount of impact that this thing can absorb is just phenomenal. It is absolutely fantastic for a heel or a midfoot striker. I'm a midfoot striker, and that being said, I'm also like 215 pounds. I'm not a lightweight. I'm 215 pounds, and I'm 5'11". So I'm nowhere near like some of these marathon runners that are 5'8", 5'7", and 150, 160 pounds. I'm a big guy. I'm built like a hockey player or a football player. That's kind of where my background is as far as athletics is concerned. So running, you want a shoe that can absorb those impacts, absorb that body weight really well, and not cause all those knee and ankle injuries that are associated with shoes that maybe don't have the proper cushioning. And this does a fantastic job at that. It's actually one of my favorite shoes to run in because I do like running distance, and that's where these shoes come into play, the React Milers. So now that we've talked about the midsole, that React foam is amazing. It's fantastic. The one little piece that I kind of need to mention is this little spot right here, this little rubber right here. Okay, that right there is a kind of like an external support for your arch. As most shoes that don't have any type of like physical arch support, or a like the Pumas that I have, they have a pro plate that kind of sits right there. So what happens is the foam will eventually kind of break down during a run, and your foot, your arch will start to fall. And when your arch starts to fall, it can cause all sorts of pain: foot pain, ankle pain, knee pain, hip pain, muscle pain, so on and so forth, because it's all kind of connected right there at your feet. This right here is kind of a support for the Nike React foam, so it doesn't break down and it keeps your arch up as you're running down the road. And it does a great job at it because it doesn't break down, it doesn't kind of fold on you. You can actually see some of the creases that are around it. Let me see if I can get that. You can see some of the creases that are around it because right here it's holding the arch up. So that is something that I noticed about this shoe, and it does help. It does work. Trust me. I've comparing this to some of my other shoes. This shoe, I felt like I could just keep going. If it wasn't for me being out of breath, I'd keep going on a lot of my runs. So one of these times I'm going to push myself and see how far I can really go in these shoes. Right now I've only just gotten to 10K, a little beyond a 10K in these shoes. But again, even after a 10K, my legs felt great after running. It was just my cardiovascular system was just not there after that period of time. So that's on me, that's not on the shoe. Now we go to the outsole. The outsole, okay, so here is going to be my negative spot on this particular shoe, okay? So the outsole, I love the tread that's on here. The Nike React, you can already see right on the heel here, right on the inside. And again, I'm a midfoot striker, but right here, you can see that it's starting to wear some of that React foam right here. Again, it's only slight. It's more like a scuff that's on it. It's not really anything major, but just kind of an idea of what's going on. You still have this exposed area, so you can have some slight rub right here. This is the part that kind of got me, okay? You can see in this toe area, this is only 50 miles, but you can kind of see in this toe area where these pills, which right up here would be what a newer looking pill, I'm calling them pills, but a newer looking one would look like right here, okay? These right here, I don't know how good you can see it. Let's see if we can kind of get this to focus a little bit. I don't think it's gonna work, but right here, right where the ball of my feet are kind of landing right here, some of these pills are starting to flatten out. And this is only after 50 miles, and the depth, you can see, is not that high, okay? So I'm a little concerned about longevity as far as the tread is concerned, as far as the rubber is concerned. Now, just if I wear some of these pills down and get it to where it's just kind of this flat rubber, am I going to stop using the shoe? No, because this rubber that's behind it is relatively thick and will absorb. I will not recommend then at that point running with these shoes in wet conditions. I think you'd want to go to another pair of shoes in wet conditions. That being said, I think that these shoes are still great in dry conditions. All of my running, by the way, is on pavement. I don't do any trail. I don't do any light trail. It's all pavement. I run around my neighborhood on pavement, on streets. So that's the only concern that I have, is I feel like the rubber, even in this, right here, where these two pieces kind of end and begin, is already starting to wear right here as well. And that's kind of on the lateral side of my foot, right by my pinky toe. So we're starting to see some wear there. Other than that, I really think that this is a fantastic shoe. I think that if you're a little bit heavier of a runner looking for something that's going to last a fairly long time, I don't know how long these are going to last. I'll give you an update on how long before the tread wears out. When the tread wears out, I'll definitely let you know and give you an update. But overall, I think these shoes are fantastic. If you like long distance running at just a nice steady pace, these are awesome shoes with incredible response and incredible comfort. And I hope you enjoyed the video. Again, click that like and subscribe button. And as always, enjoy the run.